Hi, I'm Jeremiah. I'm a repair tech at Seattle Coffee Gear. Today we're going to go ahead and talk about taking off the case on a Rocket Cellini and a Rocket Giotto. The reason why you're going to want to do this is sometimes your cases can get damaged in shipping, and you can get cases ordered and replaced. You know how to do that. And then also how to get into the machine to work on it if you need to access that. What you're going to want to do first is get together your tool list of a screwdriver, 7mm wrench, socket set, and an extension bit. You're going to go ahead and get those together. Then you're going to go ahead and remove all the accessories like the lid, the water tank, the drip tray, the portafilter, and make sure the pet machine's powered off and cold and unplugged while you're doing it. Once you get all those removed, you're going to go ahead and we're going to start working on removing the side panels of the Cellini first, and then we'll go from there. This is a version 1 Cellini, so the screw locations are a little different than the newer models. This one has 4 locations on the top, 4 slots where your cup rail hooks into. You'll take a Phillips 1 bit and then unscrew all 4 corners to remove the top. Once you get the last one off, you'll be able to remove the cup warmer and the water tank all in one assembly. And then you'll want to set that aside. Once you do that, this version 1 Cellini again has Phillips. The other one will have hex bolts, which you'll see on the other machine. You just have to loosen these two, and the diffuser plate comes right off. Once you do that, you're actually now inside the machine. You'll have 2 hole locations, bolts for a 7mm wrench. So this is the extension that you would need to get with the 7mm socket on the end of it. That is the screw that you'll need to remove. What you'll do is you'll just line it up and then spin it off. On this version 1, you have to take the nut all the way off, but on the newer versions, you just have to loosen them. Once you remove it all the way, you have the nut off, and then you can go ahead and proceed to the bottom bolts to remove. So now we're down onto the bottom screws. What you're going to want to do is I have a 7mm open end wrench. You can also use a 7mm socket or a crescent wrench if you don't have those two. But what you'll do is you'll find it and then you'll loosen it. You don't have to remove them all the way on the bottom case. You just have to loosen them so they're free. And then you would just go work around. There's a total of 6 bolts on the bottom, 2 on the back, 2 on the right side, and 2 on the left. Once you get all those removed or loosened, you'll be able to then remove the casing from the machine. So once you've got all the screws loosened and taken off of this machine, what you're going to want to do is grab it by the front while you're standing at the back, separate it. You're going to have to pull it pretty far apart, and then you pull it back towards you, which will go around everything. And then you've actually taken off the case for the Cellini Rocket style machines. So now we're going to move on to the Rocket Giotto. What you're going to want to do is go ahead and remove all the accessories like we've done here. Pull the portafilter, drip tray, water tank, lid. Once you get that done, you're going to want to remove this lid. It's just 2 screws down in the lower part of the water tank. So now what we're going to do is go ahead and remove these 2 lower screws. These 2 lower screws are going to be the same on the Cellini V2s. You're going to want to make sure you get a nice long screwdriver because the metal is sharp. You're going to want to take these 2 screws out all the way. And once you get those 2 screws out, the lid will actually come all the way off. And then we're going to go ahead and pull up on this, and it'll pull right out. So now we're going to go ahead and take that 7mm wrench and remove the diffuser panel. Just loosen those 2, and it'll actually pull straight off. And then you're now inside the machine. Now what you're going to do is there's actually 4 bolts on the inside of this machine. 2 in the front corner, 2 in the back corner. The front 2 are the most difficult ones to get to. If you don't have an extension bit, it takes a lot more time. You only have to loosen them. You don't have to take them all the way out on this model. So once you've got the top 2 bolts loosened on this machine, with the Giottos, you can remove just that one side panel that you need to access to. Once you get the top 2 bolts, then you would go down to the bottom and then loosen these 2 bolts on the very bottom. Once you get these 2 loosened, you're going to want to be careful because the side panel will come loose. So that one is good. So once you get this last bolt loosened, you should be able to pull the bottom out, pull the side panel off. Go ahead and set that aside. And then you can go ahead and access anything you need to access on the left side of the machine. To duplicate that, you're just going to go ahead and do, if you need to take off the other panels, is you're going to want to take off the 4 bolts on the 4 corners on both sides, the back and the other side, and you can remove all panels on the Giotto model. It's the same pretty much basic concept to the Rocket R58 to access that machine. So that is how you remove the case on a Rocket Cellini and a Rocket Giotto. For any more information, you can go ahead and visit our websites for these tech tips, information, and hopefully this is helpful and helps some of you guys out there.